Welcome to Texas. Hell of a place to be spending Christmas week, but we are here. And if you're wondering why you're hearing my voice here, that's because I've been called away to other duties for the past couple of weeks. I'm back with my partner in crime, the man, the myth, the living legend from the Great White North himself on the production truck duties, Mr. Kevin Cunha. Kevin, it's good to be back with you, my friend. We've not done this in way too long.
Absolutely, Tony. We've missed you. It was nice having a new voice, but it's good to be back.
And for those of you wondering where Ernest King is, family emergency. We're hoping to have him back with us as quickly as possible, but there is a family emergency, so thoughts and prayers go out to the entire King family, and hopefully that gets sorted out relatively quickly. But welcome to Chris Cup and the Texas Motor Speedway. Got to thank our sponsors for tonight, DeMarzo's Gears, for all your drivetrain and powertrain needs. DeMarzo's Gears is who you need to be in touch with. We also need to thank our very, very good friends over at SimNut Racing Sims for all your sim racing needs. SimNuts is who you need to be in touch with there. And our very, very good friends over at Butt Kicker feel what you've been missing. Butt Kicker is who you need to talk to. They've got all sorts of peripherals to bring your sim racing experience to the next level. I'm actually considering getting one of their clamp-on units for my wheelchair when the rest of my gaming rig finally shows back up. So, and we also do need to thank our broadcast sponsor, diecastnuts.com, for all your diecast needs. They buy, sell, trade, share, brag about your diecast collection. And I know it's getting down to the wire. There's an outside chance that you might still be able to get something from their store area in time for Christmas. If not, it'll be a belated Christmas gift for that special gearhead in your life. But, Kevin, let's take a quick look at the weather for tonight. Relatively cool for the Dallas-Fort Worth area. 77-degree ambient air temperature. That's winter Parker weather last I knew for Texas. And track temperature is only 79 degrees Fahrenheit, 2-mile-an-hour wind, so nothing really to complain about there. Relative humidity is 57%, so not a lot of water drain in the air, but these engines are going to be making a lot of horsepower with only 29 inches of mercury and rising right now. So one thing to be mindful of is these guys only have a 75% fuel fill and only 6 sets of tires to do all 167 laps with tonight. Qualifying underway right now as Chris Bailey Galena sitting atop the pile. Holy cow, the only one to go sub 29 in qualifying. Chris Reese sitting second quick right now at a 29.02. So the 28.7 by Galenas almost, it's a little over 25 thousandths to the good, 25 hundredths to the good. Almost a quarter of a second. I mean, that's huge at a mile and a half like Texas. As Chris Meza finishing his time up, going 5th quick. Looking to see who else is going to be on track. Looks like CJ Leach. CJ Leach just showing up. He said Chris Otto goes 9th quick on his first lap. See if he can improve any here on his second lap. Now, the one thing that we have been finding out with the Cup car, especially with the new tire model, the new damage model, and the new aero model that they've been throwing at these guys, is any setups you had prior to the most recent build coming out, as Otto goes second quick, only the second driver tonight to go second in qualifying, only the fifth driver overall to go sub 29 second tonight. So good on you, Chris Otto. But any setup you had before the latest build came out, you might just as well throw it in the garbage because everything has changed. The new tire model has really wreaked havoc with what these guys are able to do with these cars. As your countryman there in the 98, Chris Robert, going 9th quick on his first lap as he throws it right down to the apron on his second lap, lets it drift out to the wall, down the back straightaway. He comes, hauling it off into turn number 3 at 182 miles an hour. Good grief. Tell me he doesn't want to get after it. Chris Pop out on track right now, too, as
and he jumps to number 2, Chris Roberge.
Roberge becomes the... he doesn't improve on the practice time that he had, but he becomes the third driver in qualifying to go sub 28. Sub 29. As...
looking at Chris Jones right now, who's just jumped up to 7th on his first lap.
Yep, Jones in that beautiful Chevy Camaro throws it out towards the wall, coming down the back straightaway, just letting it drift. Now, the biggest thing, and I don't know what you guys have noticed the past week or so with what you guys have been doing here, but I know that the biggest complaint that everybody seems to be having about this new tire and aero model is it burns the right rear off the car, as C.R. Jones goes second quick with a 29.81, as C.J. Leach out on track right now. In that Chris's Wild Wings Camaro. And it looks like he may have a throwaway lap here for his opening lap. And nope, they do give him credit. 12th quick with a 29.5. And he is just dog track loose coming through 1 and 2. This is definitely going to be a throwaway lap.
Whoa!
And there it goes. And that's what this new tire and aero package are doing to these guys. Anything that worked prior to the latest build coming out, if you haven't spent the last couple of weeks tuning and refining all your setups and tweaking them so that you're not going to feel like you're driving on a dirt track, you're pretty much out to lunch. As Chris James in the Deuce rolling off the pit road right now, in that beautiful Ford Mustang. Sorry about that, folks. I had to wet the whistle because it's getting drier than a popcorn fart in my apartment.
Oh, is that it for qualifying?
That is it. So only 13 cars taking time. Looks like we've got 22 in the sim right now. And we'll go do a quick rundown of the starting grid here as we got CB Galinas going quick time with a 28.775. He's going to be joined on the front row with Chris Ryan Jones. Chris Robert and Chris Otto going to start in row number 2. The only 4 drivers to go sub 29 seconds in qualifying. Chris Williams and Christopher Reese going to be starting in row 3. Row 4 sees Chris Lawrence and Chris Raul Meza. That's row 4. Row 5 goes to Christopher Ritchie and Chris Quahalis. Sorry if I'm butchering it, Chris. Feel free to, send me angry messages in the chat. Christopher Landy and CJ Leach going to be rolling off in row 6. Row 7 goes to Chris Papa, who was the last driver to take time. He's going to be joined with the deuce of Chris James. Chris Tate and Chris Bass going to roll off in row 8. Row 9 sees Chris Bowler and Chris Thompson. Chris Newman and CJ Jones going to roll off in row 10. And row 11 starting shotgun on the field, Chris Joey Reese and CC Corvo. So 22 cars scheduled to roll off here tonight, 167 laps of scheduled distance. Place your bets, folks. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, share, turn on bell notifications. Give this video a like. And don't forget, we are only 170 subscribers away from the vast majority of our broadcast team having to get the ESPN logo tattooed somewhere on our person. And I want you to go in the chat, whatever chat you're in right now, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and drop the comment of hashtag tramp stamp. And for those of you who are wondering what the hell I'm talking about, we're trying to talk co-founder Sam Cooper Bennett into getting the logo tattooed on his lower back.
I do not endorse this.
Hashtag tramp stamp if you want to see Sam Cooper Bennett and the pace car drivers drunk. If you want to see Sam Cooper Bennett get a tramp stamp of the ESPN logo. So I'm excited to be back. Now, this is, and I would like to point out for those of you who are watching us on the ESPN portal, the iRacing portal, this race and many of our races coming up are going to be on the iRacing portal. So just about every night of the week, you're going to see the ESPN logo appear at the bottom of your login screen on the iRacing website. So thank you to the powers that be there.
I'm really sorry to interrupt you there, but timing and scoring is showing Chris Bailey Galinas, and my camera lost him, so it looks like he's left the track. I don't know if that's a connection issue.
He has throughput, and Chris Newman in the 90 is about to do the same. So that's going to move Chris Robert up to the point. So as the field works its way out of turn 4, the only thing he's left to do is pull the belts, adjust the visor, and Merry Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to get it on in Texas. As Robert pulls the trigger, we are underway, and he's side by side with Chris Ryan Jones. And so far, everybody running pretty favorably. Comes to 31 of Chris Williams to the inside in that Luke Chris, number 31. As he is door-to-door with Chris Ryan Jones right now. As we give that first lap to Robert. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, I'm seeing some side-by-side action going on with the 62 of Chris Reese getting by the 9 of Chris Lawrence. As everybody's starting to get single file a little bit further back, we've got the 35 of Chris Ritchie and the 25 of Chris Tate throwing bombs at each other right now. Tate trying to make some headway in that National Chris number 25. And right in front of them, whoa, that was a big slide from Chris Raul Meza, and he still doesn't have it collected back up. Going to lose a handful of spots in that GoPro number 37 Ford Mustang. That could have gotten very ugly very quickly. But he gets it collected back up, only loses 5 spots, as he's now slugging it out with CJ Leach. And they are still side by side. They haven't gotten that one sorted out yet. Okay, here we go. Leach now side by side with, looks like the 97 of Bass. So Leach kind of just riding right now, seeing what he's got, which is probably the best thing. As Meza goes to the inside of Chris Landy, coming through the quad portion of the oval, throws it to the inside, right down on that yellow line, drifts up, full four-wheel slide job, and don't look now, but here comes Bass as well. Bass trying to make some headway in that Petty Blue, number 97. And Chris Robert has just started walking away from everybody. About a 5-car length lead for the 98 right now over Chris Ryan Jones. And he is about 1 car length to the good over Chris Williams. Single file up towards the front. The action right now is from about 10th back. As Bass goes to the inside of Meza and just full send-it mode coming through 3 and 4. Leach getting some moves done on Landy. And, you know, these guys at the back of the pack right now weren't able to lay down qualifying times either because they weren't able to get into the session early enough, or they just didn't realize they were running that close on time. They're trying to make up some heavy positions right now. And how about the 25 of Tate? As he now throws it to the inside on Jones going through 1. Tate has the 25 on kill tonight.
Absolutely.
Was not able to lay down a hot lap in the practice session or the qualifying session. Haller was one of the last ones to roll onto the property. And he has moved up from 15th starting spot, battling for the lead right now, as he is all over the back bumper of the 98 of Robert. And Robert, he's got to be watching that relative. He's watching the 25 closer and closer and closer. So, and this just in, Newman just had a throughput. And Salinas is finally back out on track, 78. Only 6 laps down after having his throughput. So, few cautions, and Salinas will get right back into this one. As field's starting to get a little strung out, except right here at the very front of the field, Tate just stalking Robert right now. The 98 running his line and putting his car where he wants to put it, and basically telling Robert, if you want to get around me, you're going to have to do it the hard way.
Yeah, the two of them are looking really impressive, pulling away from the 3 fighting for the 3rd spot.
Business just picked up as Reese goes to the inside on Williams. Not able to make it happen coming off a 2, though, as Reese had to really pinch it down and that car did not look stable at all coming through 1 and 2, as he's going to get back in line and try to make another shot at Williams in the 31.
Now Otto and Richie is right up behind him. Otto's going on the inside.
And we have a new leader. Chris Tate was able to make it happen coming through 3 and 4.
And make it happen with gusto, it looks like.
Absolutely. Respect my authority. As he is just starting to walk away from everybody. His last lap, even making that pass, was a 29.6.
Incredible.
And Robert's was a 29.7. So, these guys are picking them up and laying them down right now. That's for dang sure. as that is the 78. Oh, Galinas. Okay. Galinas, the lap car, is trying to pick his way through traffic and get at least one of his laps back the hard way. He just laid down a 29.3, picking his way through traffic.
Wow.
So that's nothing short of impressive by the man driving the 78. Bad luck, putting 6 laps down with that throughput. But, he's not resting on his laurels, waiting for something to happen. He's doing what he can, driving his backside off. As right in front of him, that looks like Richie? No, that's Otto and Williams going side by side, and Galinas working to the outside of Otto right now. Otto, as Williams gets a good run into 3. And when I say Galinas is doing it the hard way, I'm not kidding. He's going around the outside of these guys. That is incredibly difficult to do, even with as cool the track temperatures as we have. Track temperatures up to 80 degrees after all the running that they've been doing so far. Is we've got 15 laps in the books. Tate, Roberts, Jones, Williams, and Otto, your top 5 right now, as Otto and Williams side by side going through 3 and 4. And give the position to Otto with a nose out front. Williams trying to battle back, coming through the quad portion of the oval. Give the lap to Otto by less than a tenth. Here comes the 62 of Reese to the inside of Williams as well. And now these 3 guys have just been throwing just Chuck Liddell-style haymakers at each other all night long. As Richie goes to the inside of Reese, Reese kind of got a little bound up coming through 1 and 2, lost a little bit of momentum. Richie was able to get a run on him down the back straightaway, move Richie into 6th, Reese back to 7th. You guys are going to need to get it sorted out pretty good. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, Tate with almost a full second to the good over Roberts. And Roberts, he's not really fallen off as far as pace goes. It's just Tate's fallen off a whole lot less.
That's right.
And if you take a look at what Tate's doing, Tate just did a 30 flat. Galinas just did a 29.7 trying to pick his way through traffic.
Wow, incredible.
Absolutely. So, what type of race would we be seeing right now if Galinas hadn't had that throughput? We may never know. But
it's like a mechanical failure. It's part of racing in one way or another.
Oh yeah, it'd be the same thing as if the ignition box failed on the parade lap. That's basically what a throughput is. For those of you who are new to sim racing, that's essentially what happened to Galinas. Both his ignition boxes failed. He had to coast it back to the pits. The crew had to put a new chip in, and he lost 6 laps in the pits because of it. Meanwhile, though, he is quickly closing in on the backside of Chris Tate, trying to get one of his laps back the hard way, as Galinas right now the closest driver to Tate.
It's incredible how fast he's torn through that field.
Oh, absolutely. 6 laps down, had to pit start. This is nothing short of miraculous. But we've seen it time and time again. Galinas has had speed all season. He just really hasn't had the luck to go with it. Through 1 and 2, he's on the low side, coming off of 2, going to get the run. And gets one of his laps back the hard way. 29.77 that last lap. Let's see what he is this time at the stripe. That's Galinas in the 78. 30 flat. And that was having to pinch it down through 1 and 2 and through 3 and 4 to stay off of Chris Tate. And Tate, he's got to be seeing this going, where the hell did this guy come from?
Yeah, exactly.
He's got to be counting his lucky stars right now that Galinas did have that ignition box problem.
Exactly.
The whole field got to be looking at it like that.
I'd be like, where is this guy getting this from?
Yeah, exactly. If I didn't know Bailey as well as I do, it could be very easily assumed that he's not playing on the up and up.
Right.
I've known this kid for 5 years. As a matter of fact, the young man in '78, Sam Cooper Bennett, and myself all used to run in another league together. And Maverick, if you're listening, please come back. But very respectable young man, and I guarantee you that his grandmother would break both her feet off in his backside if he was doing anything underhanded just to try to win a video game. So Tate is now 2.5 seconds to the good over Chris Roberge, as Chris Ryan Jones keeping Roberge honest for that battle for second place. Then you're another full second back to Chris Otto, who's kind of on an island all by himself, as Chris Williams and Chris Ritchie starting to heat things up as a battle for fifth. And how about Chris James and Chris Bass? The Deuce and the 97 started 14th and 16th respectively, currently running 7th and 8th. So weren't able to lay down qualifying laps, and they've been steadily climbing through the field right now. As again, Chris Tate is again lucky that Galinas had that issue at the start, as he is now 2 3/4 seconds to the good. Looking back here, as the field's getting more strung out than a methadone clinic. Your next closest battle is going to be between, looks like, the 27 of Quihills and the 71 of Landy. Now, Landy's not having the best of seasons so far. Has already dropped 7 positions, as has Quihills. They started 10th and 11th, respectively, currently running 17th and 18th. And they are slugging it out right now with the man who started in 12th, as they get a good run coming off of 4. Chris Leach had to chase it up the track a little bit, so that 48 not really handling as well as it could, as he goes wide to give those guys plenty of room. Everybody running clean, pinches down a little bit, has to chase it down the hill. Luckily was able to collect it back in time before anything went horribly wrong. And throw a blanket over 5th through 8th right now. You got Chris Williams in the 31, Chris Ritchie about a car length and a half back in the 35. Then you're another car length and a half back to the Deuce of Chris James, Chris Bass in the 97, another car length and a half back, as they are starting to reel in Chris Otto. Now, Otto's lap times have been dropping off dramatically. He may have gone out too hard too quickly, as he's now down to a 30.5 the last time I saw him go across the stripe. And everybody else's lap times are hovering around the low 31s that are running around him. The other one who's starting to fall off a little bit and is starting to get reeled in is the 98 of Chris Roberge. He's down to a 30.42. So,
yeah, you can see Ryan Jones coming up behind him.
Yeah, Jones is definitely starting to reel in the 98, as 78% fuel fill. I'm thinking tires are going to wear out. Patience and tires are going to wear out before the fuel does. Now, they do have 6 total sets of tires, so the set they started on plus 5 in reserve. So 167 laps, figure every 45-ish laps. You can change a set of tires. As the battle for second, really hot and heavy right now. It's Jones on the inside, Robert's on the high side, drag race down the back straightaway. Plenty of respect given between those two. Your classic Ford-Chevy battle as Jones gets a good drive into 3, going to get the clear coming off of 4. And Robert, if we can go on board with Robert, you can really hear just how much he's having to feather that throttle to get back into the gas. And you just hear those tires just screaming in that car.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, yeah, he's able to flat foot it through 3 and 4, but going through 1 and 2, and he's not letting Jones get away, but he's really having to be careful on it, as it looks like our leader is getting into some lap traffic already.
Oh, yeah. Quite some.
Yeah, that is the tail end of the field. That's Landy, Corvo, Bowler, Leach, and Quihills, as almost gets into the back of Landy, as Landy was chasing it up the hill. Landy definitely not happy with the handling of that car right now, as he goes a lap down. So Corvo is going to be the next one in that Chris Cola number 41. Given plenty of room to the leader. And the one thing I'm really hoping iRacing finally gives us is, because it's something that we've seen them do on a lot of mile and a half as of late, I really hope iRacing finally gives us the VHT in the corners. Because that'll be a game changer, especially with this new tire model. And Bowler, just like that, goes a lap down, as the picking his way through the traffic has slowed Tate down a little bit. It was almost a 4.5 second gap, now down to 4 flat to Ryan Jones, but Jones is going to need to deal with the lap traffic as well. So there's that. As Leach just went a lap down as well, and that would be with Hills in the 27. And there goes your leader to put the 27, Chris Proshop's Toyota Camry a lap down. As Thompson brings it pit side in the Chris Light number 40. The only beer wagon in the league, I've noticed. That's something we see a lot of especially in the Cup series, other Cup series that we broadcast. Is there's usually a battle of the beer wagons at least once throughout the night. But yeah, the 40 being the only beer wagon here, So working lap 42 of 167, and Kevin, I gotta think we're not that far away from green flag pit stops, at least for tires.
Yeah, you got to think it's getting on up there, and we're seeing some of the fall off. So I would think so as well, as we've got Ryan Jones coming up onto lap traffic.
So Jones starting to pick his way through the lappers just like Tate had to do. Oh, gets into the 71. 71 was trying to chase it down the hill coming off a 2 and got into the 24 of Jones. That's going to cost Jones a ton of momentum as Robert's going to get a run on him now. And here comes the deuce of James as well, right on the backside of Robert, filling his rearview mirror. Gets a great drive off a 4 to the inside. He goes. Battle for third, really hot and heavy right now. And give James third. Robert's back to fourth. As you know, I'm looking at everybody's lap times, and Thompson, I guarantee you, yeah, Thompson went for 4. CJ Jones has been down pit road for 4. So
we've got see.
There we
Chris
go.
Ryan Jones, Lawrence, Otto, Reese, all in.
So there's our first set of our leaders to blink. And you take a look at the difference in lap times between Chris Thompson, who was already down and away and gotten his service done, 29.4 for Thompson. The last lap for your leader, Tate, was a 30.6. I'm sorry, James, as Tate goes pit side. So a 30.6. So a second to the good for Thompson. So, you know, the new tires are going to be good for at least a second as 40 gets down on the apron, has to chase it. And Tate popped for speeding.
Ah.
Oh wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong line. Sorry, never mind. So far, everybody's okay. The only one that hasn't been pit side yet in the top 5 is Chris James. As Robert, Bass, and Richie all go pit side. And Chris Papa in the 13 has not gone pit side. There goes your leader, James, to pit road there. Just barely getting down to the 45 mile an hour pit road speed limit. And it's going to be fun to see how this one shakes out. As
Chris Papa's coming in.
Yep.
Chris Bowler, the other Canuck in the McDonald's inspired livery, he's coming in now. So that's Chris Corveau in the Chrysocola, and he's coming in.
And Chris Tate just got the lead back. Holy cow.
Incredible. Chris Ryan Jones stays out, inheriting second.
6.5 seconds back from Tate to Jones.
Incredible.
That's insane.
Let's see if we can demonstrate it by the camera. Yeah, that's incredible. Look at that. Unreal. From one end, there we go.
We need to zoom the blimp camera out.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It really is.
Yeah, I mean, Tate, so far in the race, Tate's the only one to go sub 29 seconds. His last lap was a 29.2, so take that for what it's worth. Bass just went 29.1. Chris James just went 29.1. So, these guys were flirting with 31-second laps before this pit stop the pit stops happened. So you figure fresh tires are good for at least a second.
Yep.
At least. Almost 2 seconds. This is just wild to me.
I'm looking at Chris Bass as he's coming up on Chris Reese on the inside. 97.
I was just looking at that too, as Bass goes to the inside and just that simple moves up into 7th. now sets his sights on reeling in Chris Otto in the 88. And I'm not sure if you heard the news this week, but one of the things that has not shown up on defending Real World Cup champion Chase Elliott's promotional liveries for the upcoming season, Mountain Dew is nowhere to be seen on any of the test liveries so far for Hendrick Motorsports. So, have we seen the last of Pepsi-Cola at Hendrick? As Chris James getting by Chris Otto. And Lawrence right now is working on the back of Chris Ritchie.
But Bass coming right up on the back of them both.
Yeah, and Bass filling the U.S. Chris number 9 rearview mirror right now. And call me sentimental, but I always loved that shade of Petty Blue.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's beautiful.
Now, can you name the only two manufacturers who actually released a street version of their Cup car in that color?
No.
That's tonight's trivia question, folks. In the real world of Cup racing, at the time known as Grand National Racing, what two manufacturers at the time released the street version of their Cup car in the it's Petty Blue, but it was referred to as a different name for licensing reasons at the time.
Chris James making the move and gets it done.
Yep, James making it look easy on Lawrence as they haul it down the back straightaway. And
you can see on the track map, folks, in the right hand, Chris James, who we're looking at in the 2 car, is highlighted. And that's the pack of cars that he's in. So you can really see how spread out this field has come. It's become quite difficult with some cars lapping and moving in the traffic to, keep track of where everybody is.
Something has to have happened to Chris Papa, because that car has fallen drastically off the pace. Oh, there it is. He's got a wow in the right rear fender of that number 13 Twisted Chris Chevy Camaro. So, but if you want to answer tonight's trivia question, what two real-world manufacturers released street legal versions of their Cup cars with the Petty Blue as a color option?
Chris James going on the inside of the 97 of Chris Bass.
James with a head of steam right now, looking to get a twofer, as that is the lap car of the 27 of Quahis. Sorry, Chris, I don't know how to say your name.
And coming out on Chris Ritchie.
They are reeling Chris Ritchie in hand over fist right now, as Ritchie's last lap was a 30.1. James's last lap was a full tenth to the good at a 29.9, or 2/10 to the good at a 29.9. And you can see it again. The lap time's already starting to fall off. There's guys struggling to get back into the 29. And we missed it, but the 78 just became the second car tonight to run a sub 29 in race trim.
Very well done.
picking him up, laying him down. Now, mind you, he is back to 6 laps down after taking that green flag pit stop. And I hate to tell him, but I'll cancel the broadcast before we have enough caution to let him get a lucky dog to get back on the lead lap. I will seriously cancel the broadcast and cancel the league before that happens. No offense, Bailey, but not going to happen, bud.
As Chris James comes right onto the bumper of the Tabascris car.
I was just about to say that myself. But yeah, they're picking him up and laying him down. We are working lap 63. Closing in on the 100 to go mark. As James to the inside of Richie, hauling it down the back straightaway. Side by side into turn number 3. James full send it mode. Right down on the apron. Richie going to have to pinch it down to try to block off Chris Bass. And Richie is fading very quickly. Not of the cars that he's running around, he's the only one that has not gone sub 29 in the last handful of laps. Or sorry, sub 30 in the last handful of laps. So Tate, Jones, Robert, James, Richie, your top 5, as Richie has his rear view mirrors filled with the 97 of Bass. Bass throws it to the inside going into turn number 1. Richie gives him plenty of room. A lot of respect being shown here tonight.
Absolutely.
Drag race down the back straightaway.
Absolutely, and I have to say, it's always a pleasure to watch these races and to toss the camera around at these drivers, because they're racing hard, but they're racing clean.
And that's what we love to see here on ESPN. Are you reading the interval like I'm reading it for between Tate and Jones?
Yeah.
Did I say 9 seconds?
Mine says 12.
No, between Tate and Jones.
Oh, sorry. Yes, 9 seconds. Yeah, 8.6. Yeah.
That's insane. As Reese now works on the back of Otto. So the 62 filling the rearview mirror of the 88 as they haul it down the back straightaway. This is one of your closest battles on track right now. And it looks like the Aero push is starting to rear its ugly head. Reese got close going down the back straightaway, was not able to get that car to turn in, though, going into turn 3. As Otto slips it high going through 1 and 2. That is going to let Reese get closer, though, as he was able to run a lot lower through 1 and 2. Was able to get some clean air to the splitter on the front of that car and able to get it sucked right down. As the battle races on in front of them. Nope, I'm sorry. I had that wrong. That's the 9 of Lawrence working on Chris Papa in the 13.
And the 13 being a lapped car.
Yes. So your closest battle on track right now is this battle for 8th that keeps raging on between Otto and Reese. Otto gains a little, Reese gains a little, Otto gains a little. That could have gotten ugly as Pappas just bounces it off the wall. Pappas bounces it off the wall coming off of turn number 4 and almost gets into the side of the deuce of James.
And Otto was really squirrely, and that he scrubbed a lot of speed, which allowed the 62 of Reese to come up, but then got checked up by Otto, and there was contact. It was almost, I can't believe Otto managed to collect it, and is now fighting back and just taking the position back from Reese.
Well, the thing is, Reese, Reese probably let him go, not wanting to get the spot from him that way.
Right. Well, I have to say I'm not sure it was really his fault because Otto had done a wiggle at the same time that you were commenting on Papa scrubbing the wall. Otto had done a big wiggle and scrubbed a lot of speed, which is what allowed Reese to come up on him so hot. I don't think Reese could have done anything at that point.
Absolutely not. I mean, there was nothing he could do. They've collected themselves back up. They're getting back up to speed, but they are going to have to hustle it as Chris Tate has not slowed up in the least bit. The gap is 21 and a half seconds
Unreal.
back from Chris Tate to Chris Otto. So with these guys cranking off 37-second lap times, or 30-second lap times, we're not that far from seeing the leader appear in their rearview mirrors collectively, as they have the 27.
Oh, we've got a. Is that? Yes, that is. Chris James and Chris Roberge are either working together or keeping a perfectly respectful distance as they.
I think James just got by Robert.
Okay.
Because Roberge was in third, James just got by him, and now he's working on the backside of that is the lap car, the 33 of CJ Jones. And James is no slouch tonight. As far as lap times go, he's still doing very low 30-second lap times, as is Chris Ryan. Just as I say that, Ryan goes to 31.1, but James 30.4, Chris Tate, your leader, 30.2 the last time by. Chris Ritchie in the 35, 30.2. Everybody else is upper 30s or 31s right now. So, what did we see for the first set of stops? Roughly lapped, that was 31 laps ago. So, we're not that far off from another round of green flag pit stop, solely because these guys are just whooping the hell out of the tires.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We got Chris Bass coming up on the back of Chris Roberge.
And don't look now, but Bailey Galinas has gotten around Tate again. So
No
Galinas
way.
just unlapped himself for a second time. He's now -5, as Tate's not letting him go, though. I mean, those two guys are in lockstep. This is basically the battle we would have been seeing for the lead had Galinas not had that throughput on the parade lap. So, this is fun to watch, because it's not for position, but it could have been and should have been for position.
Yeah.
So, these two guys Tate wasn't able to put a practice time in. We only had 4 guys in the hot lap session go sub 29. Galinas was one of only 4 guys in the qualifying session to go sub 29. And so far, Tate is one of only 2 drivers, Galinas being the other one, to go sub 29 in the race. As a matter of fact, Galinas has the fastest lap of the race with a 29.884 to Tate's 28.923. So, these guys are picking them up and laying them down. And, again, tonight's trivia question, if you missed it, if we can bring up the 97 of Chris Bass again so we know what color we're looking at. generally, if you go into a shop that mixes automotive paint and you tell them, yeah, I want petty blue, you're going to get a color very, very similar to what's on the 97 right now. Throughout the history of NASCAR in the real world, there's only been 2 manufacturers who have released a street legal version of the car they ran in the what's now known as the Cup Series. They released a version of that car for the street painted in petty blue. What 2 real world manufacturers did that? And we'll let that go until the century mark, as we're working lap 83 right now. So,
and speaking of getting feedback from our viewers, I've just been informed that Christopher Kiwis is pronounced, as I just said it, like kiwis. So,
all right. Well, thank you for whoever said that, and I will try to get it right.
That was Scott Q, like the fruit, Christopher Kiwis.
Okay. So Chris Kiwis in the 27, Chris Pro Shops, and Chris Boats, number 27. Currently sitting 2 laps down in 19th. So not the night he was hoping for, and I'm seeing a lot of damage on the left front of that Toyota Camry. And there's also a lot of damage on the right rear of that Toyota Camry. So needless to say, he's hit just about everything except the pace car tonight. And the battle for second starting to heat up as Jones, James, and Bass in lockstep right now. As the 24 going to be the first one to blink for the round number 2 of green flag pit stops. That's going to hand the second place over to the deuce of Chris James. Chris Bass in that petty blue number 97. Sits in third, and then you are almost 2 full seconds back to Chris Roberge in the Chris D number 98. And the rest of the field more strung out than a methadone clinic. So Jones down and away. I'm sorry, James down and away. I can English tonight, really, I can. No, I had it right, Jones. I just clicked on the wrong Jones. Sorry about that, folks. So the 24 of Jones, this is his first flyer after his pit stop. Just starting it now. As CJ Leach just came pit side. And everybody else kind of staying out there as long as they can. And if you're Tate right now, you might just as well stay out as long as you possibly can, because 11.5 seconds to the good over the deuce of Chris Jones.
Tate laps Landy.
So Landy goes another lap down. Not the night he was hoping for in the number 71. So definitely not good there. As I'm watching lap times, and Jones right now in the 24 with those fresh tires. As CJ Jones now brings it pit side. But Chris Jones in the 24, he's got a second a lap in his pocket. Actually, a second and a tenth in his pocket over what the leaders are picking up and laying down. And just like that, here comes the 25 of Tate. Just barely getting it down to 45 as he hits the stripe. And he's got Landy in the 71 coming with him. That's going to hand the lead of the race over to Chris James in the deuce. As that number 97 is inching ever closer to the 2. You got to think those guys are getting ready to come pit side, and I'm thinking I think Bass just called that he is going pit. Yep, there he goes.
But James stays out.
Chris James stays out, gets credited with leading the lap there. Roberge up to second as he is 3.5 seconds back off of James. So James has not been pit side for his second stop. Roberge has not been, and here comes Roberge now. So the only ones that have not made their second pit stop, as James is in as well, Chris Papa in the 13 and Chris Williams in the 31. Chris Bowler in the 82 and the 41 of Corvo. Those are the only ones that have not made their second pit stop. Make that Galinas as well has not made his second pit stop. And we're under caution. What happened there?
Joey Reese.
Reese coming off of pit road, pulls the trigger as soon as he clears the commitment cones. Let's see what happened here.
Joey was fine. It was the 37 that got all loose and got into him. Not sure what happened to the 37.
Reese came up in front of him. That's what happened to him.
Yeah, I just realized that.
Oh, my Lanta. Well then, expect strong words from Chris Raul Meza and Chris Reese when this race is over, because Meza was already having a difficult night as it was. He didn't need that to make it any worse. But so yeah, this is definitely going to shake up the running order. Going to be fun to see if anybody's going to come down pit road at least to, pack the thing full of fuel and, let the chips fall where they may, because we have not seen the money stop yet. And by money stop, I mean we haven't seen that final pit stop. Throw on your last set of tires and hope for the best. So Tate in the 25, the 24 of Jones, the 97 of Bass, the 35 of Ritchie, and the 98 of Roberge.
That was really unfortunate. They were running so well, so clean.
Yeah, I mean, we just watched them do 94 laps without even a hint of a caution.
Yeah.
That's nothing short of impressive at Texas.
No, absolutely.
So, while we are under caution, do need to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, our good friends over at Butt Kicker. Feel what you've been missing. DeMarzo's Gears for all your drivetrain and gear needs. DeMarzo's Gears. And our very good friends at SimNut Racing Sims. For all your sim peripheral needs, SimNut Racing Sims is who you need to get in contact with. You can find them on their Facebook page. And we do need to give a big shout out to our very good friends here at ESPN over at Diecast Nuts. It's Diecast Nuts with a Z at the end of it. You can find them on their Facebook page, facebook.com /Diecast Nuts or diecastnuts.com. You can buy, sell, trade, share, brag about your diecast collection. You can add to your diecast collection. So, our good friends over at Diecast Nuts, thank you again. And I will give you folks one quick hint before we turn them loose again, as far as tonight's trivia question. And the question revolves around the 97 of Chris Bass. The color he's got on that car is colloquially known as Petty Blue in the racing industry. And there's only been 2 manufacturers throughout history that have released real-world cars for the street painted in that color. The hint I'm going to give you is one is called Corporate Blue, and the other color is called what the hell did they call it? No, they called it Petty Blue. One called it Petty Blue, the other one called it Corporate Blue. Because the year that they released the car, Petty was not driving for them that year.
Is that why it's called Petty Blue? I did not know that.
It's called Petty Blue because it's the special color combination that Maurice Petty came up with for their cars.
Ah.
But there was a shakeup one year in the Premier Division of NASCAR when Richard changed manufacturers, and the following year they released the car that he won in, but he had already gone back to the manufacturer that he had left. So when they released the color, people had already pre-ordered it. They just changed the color's name to Corporate Blue. So those are the only hints you're getting, folks. And we are working lap 99, so if you got your guesses, get them in now. Because I will be revealing the answer in just a couple laps here. As we are back underway, Tate gets a great jump.
Wide.
Wow!
Look at that. That's like a military flight formation.
Yeah, it is. Wow. That's Lawrence Otto. And we're back under caution.
Yeah, caution's precautions, don't they?
And Chris Leach is missing the front end of his car. Oh! What happened with Chris Thompson? Looks like he may have had some help. Thompson started chasing it down the hill, coming into the quad oval, and
who is that in the Coors inspired livery?
That would be the 40 of Chris Thompson.
Right. Okay.
He got it a little squirrely coming off before, chased it down the hill. Corvo in the 41 did an amazing job to not get into him, as Thompson was trying to collect it back up and not kill any speed, bounces it off the wall just as CJ Leach was trying to pick his way through traffic and just clobbered him. And CJ Jones caught a huge piece of that one too in the Chris Spice number 33. So that was
But before Thompson, the 75 comes down and collects and hits the 33, which gets into the 40, which is what started
That's
him.
why, yeah, I went back a little further as well. That's why Thompson was chasing it, because the 75 got into the back bumper of the 33. The 33 doors the 40. The 40's chasing it and just snaps you by.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, just. And I was really, yeah. It's just so frustrating to me that, well, who was it that came out of the pit lane that precipitated the last caution?
Oh, yeah.
Because that was really what undid all the work of those leaders.
Yeah, so, yeah, Chris Jones, you just got taken off my Christmas card list. Sorry, Chris Joey Reese, you just got taken off my Christmas card list.
Sorry to call you out, bud, but...
So anyways, we're on lap 100, and I still don't see any,
We do have some folks going down to pit lane.
We do, and Larry Liz Murphy, you've got one of the manufacturers correct, the other one you do not. And I can tell you right now, Petty never actually ran a Dodge until 73.
Chris Reese looks like he got in and out real quick. First off of pit road, Chris James follows.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of guys looking to try to pack those cars full of fuel. No, James took a set of tires. It was a 14.5-second stop. So yeah, that's 4 in a full boat. Jones still on pit road in the 33 trying to get some damage fixed. As is Thompson.
And Leach with his missing front.
Yep. And as a matter of fact, if I can find the little bugger, because I promised him I would do this next time I had the chance to do it. Where is he? He's not in here. Sneaky guy. I was going to bring Chris Leach in to talk with us, but he's not here. So yeah, no. Plymouth is correct. Okay, Larry Liz Murphy, yes, Plymouth is correct. It was not a Pentastar brand for the other corporation. So James going to the tail end of the field. I'm not sure how well that's going to really work for him after packing that thing full of fuel and getting 4 fresh tires. He's going to have to pick his way carefully through the traffic in front of him, as the lights are out on the Ford Mustang GT500 pace car, the official pace car of iRacing. Tate going to have the button one more time. He's got Chris Ritchie in the 35 right there with him. Chris Bass and Chris Lawrence going to be restarting in row number 2 as the field works its way through the 3-4 complex. Pace car getting ready to make that hard left turn on the pit road. There it goes. And here we go as they come into the quad oval section, and green flag is out. We are back underway. Tate pulls the trigger. Ritchie goes with him. Tate getting a decent shove from Chris Bass, though. Bass looking to make some headway on the 35 of Ritchie. And don't look now, but here comes the 24 of Chris Ryan Jones trying to make some headway as well. Jones still not having the clear on the 35 of Ritchie, as they're 3 wide behind him for 4th. wisely the 98 of Roberge backing out of it, doesn't want to be that guy, as Galinas just full send it mode on the outside right now. Oh no. And we're back under caution.
That's Galinas in the 78.
Yeah, not sure exactly what happened
and
there.
Christopher Ritchie in the 35.
Oh, that's what happened. Looks like Galinas just got a little overzealous coming off of 2. The 35 had to chase it coming off of 2. Got a little bit squirrely in the middle of 1 and 2. Started to chase it. Galinas wasn't able to get off the trigger in time, and they both just pile drove that inside retaining wall. So it was a valiant effort, but Galinas' night is over as he's already put it on the hauler. Well then.
Cautions breed cautions.
They do. And
Tate's coming in.
Yep. Looks like he's going to get another set of tires. Not necessarily his last set, but he's going to get another set. But the answer to tonight's trivia question, again, one manufacturer called it Petty Blue, the other one called it Corporate Blue. Plymouth called it Petty Blue in 1970, and the Ford Motor Company called it Corporate Blue.
That's the one I
when
figured.
When Petty went back to Plymouth.
All you had to say was Corporate Blue, and I was like, oh, I know that one.
Yeah, that's Petty Blue. So, valiant effort for Larry Liz Murphy in the Facebook chat. You got half credit on that one for the Plymouth answer. So, and coincidentally, Chris Bass inherits the lead in the Petty Blue number 97. So, very fitting. And Tate just put it on the hauler.
No.
I wish I were kidding.
I still see his name lit up.
Tate? Christopher Tate client has manually disconnected.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. It took my timing and scoring a second to register that.
So, yeah. Yep, Tate just calling it a night. But let me see if I can grab him before he ducks out of here, though. And he is not in the Discord server.
I don't understand. He was running so well.
Ah, there it goes. Have to head to work. It was fun racing tonight. Well, Chris, it's a damn shame you couldn't finish what you started here, but you had a hell of a run, my friend, and congratulations on clinching most laps led tonight.
Absolutely.
And if you're new to the stream and you like what you're seeing, don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, share, turn on bell notifications. Give us a thumbs up if you're on the Facebook side. If you're on the YouTube side, give us a thumbs up there too. Let us know you enjoy what we're putting out to you, because we do this just about every night of the week, at least once a night. Many nights we have 2 broadcasts tonight, which reminds me, Kevin, before you leave tonight, I do need to talk to you about something coming up.
Okay.
So, lights go out on the Ford Mustang GT500 pace car, the official pace car of iRacing. Chris Tate in the 97, Chris Ryan Jones in the 24. Going to restart on row number 1, row 2.
You mean Chris
Is gonna
Bass?
What did I say?
Chris Tate.
Chris Bass and Chris Jones going to roll off in row number 1. Bass going to have the button. Then you've got the 9 of Lawrence and the 2 of James. The 88 of Otto and the 98 of Roberge. That's your first 3 rows. As we've got them dropping like flies right now. I'm seeing Kiwis is out of pit road in the 27. Landy is out of pit road in the 71. Chris Ritchie is still on pit road. So the Tabasco Chris number 35 might be calling it a night here pretty soon. So that leaves us with 16 cars still running. Field works its way out of turn number 4. Pace car getting ready to make that hard left turn onto pit road. There it goes. And here we go. Bass holds them down a little bit as they come into the quad oval section. Green flag in the air. The 9 stacks up the inside lane. And the 31 fighting. And there we go again. Take a guess who that one was?
I see the 41 and the 82.
Yeah, you want to take a guess why the 41 was pointed the wrong way on a one-way street?
What happened? I didn't see it.
Focus on the 75.
All right. Let's see. Go back here.
Tries to take it 3 wide on the green flag, coming through the quad oval.
You know, you're getting impatient if you're doing that.
Yeah.
And I do believe I saw a tiny bit of netcode there too, which is also something you have to, you know, expect. So on top of making it a risky situation, you know, of a start, you know, we already just had an incident off of, you know, and adding 3 wide to that, and then, you know, the hit or miss of netcode. And
yeah, no, I mean it's definitely
it's a recipe to stretch the race out. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these guys were doing so great. 95 laps before we even had a sniff of a caution. So.
Yeah, exactly. And that one caution really just, again, was a big boo-boo. You know, big mistake coming out of pit lane and up in front of cars coming on at speed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm kind of scratching my head here because these guys are so much better than this. You know, just week in and week out, we see these guys put on such amazing races every week that I'm surprised we're having this much trouble. This is not indicative of this league at all.
Well, yeah, no, and it's not. I don't think it's, you know, it's egregious. It's just what happens, you know. Like once that first one kicked off, and you know, then you know, and now you're adding the impatience of people, and yeah, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, I hate to see it happen for these guys because, you know, it's got to be frustrating for the guys that are out on track right now. as Chris Ryan Jones going pit side, Chris Otto going pit side, Chris Lawrence going pit side, Chris Corvo going pit side. Reese just put it on the hauler. So. All right. Well then, that's going to shake things up just a little bit. Chris James going to have the button this time. Looks like Bass has gone pit side as well. So James and Papa both stay out. Now, Papa at one time was two laps down. Currently sits in second place. So good on you, sir.
Absolutely.
And you can see a little bit of damage on the right rear of the number 13, but you can see where the team has taken the baseball bat to the fender well to try to pull it back out, because that right rear is not nearly as flat as it once was. So a little bit of side bite now for the 13. Let's see what he's going to be able to do with it. Now, some of these guys only have 7-8 laps, and most of those are under pacing. So we're close to you can make it from here territory, but we're still not quite there. As James going to have the button this time as the lights go out on the Ford Mustang GT 500 pace car. James, Papa, Bass, Roberge, Jones, Otto, Lawrence, Mesa, the last car on the lead lap, in 8th. And then you've got Reese and Williams rounding out your top 10. And that's Reese in the 62, by the way, not the 75. So, field working its way through the 3-4 complex, coming out of turn number 4. There goes the pace car, as James, not jumping on it like he could, rolls into it, and green flag's in the air, and we are back underway to put 115 laps in the books of 167. James and Papa still side by side. Here comes the 97 of Bass with a full send it mode going into turn number 1. Now he does have fresher tires, although it only be 8 lap pressure. Still making it happen.
Meanwhile, farther back, Chris Papa is moving up.
Chris Papa's moving back.
Oh, sorry, not Chris Papa. Who is that I was looking at? Number 9, Christopher Lawrence.
Lawrence is making it happen. Here comes the 31 of Williams, who again is a lap down, and here comes Roberge as well to get by Papa. These guys are in lockstep right now. So James Bass, Chris Ryan Jones, Lawrence, and Roberge, your top 5 that time across the stripe. And Chris Bass in the 97 just stalking the 2 of James. Looks to the inside going through 3, full send it mode. 5 lap pressure tires, able to make the move stick coming off of 4. Bass back to the point. Williams right now kind of breaking up the top 5 as he runs between the 9 of Lawrence. Oh, hang on to her, son. Nope. Chris Kiwi's getting it all wrong coming off of turn number 2, chases it down the hill, and that car is not handling the way he wanted it to. And that's only on 10 lap old tires.
back up at the front, throw the blanket over from first to fifth.
That's Bath, James, Jones, Lawrence, and Roberge. Now, the only other car that you see up there, you see 6 of them up there, that is the lap car of Chris Williams, who does have the lucky dog position. And you've got the 62 of Reese, who's trying to figure out how to get by the 31 of Williams. Now, that actually is for position 2, just not in this whole top grouping. Bass starting to stretch his legs on James right now. He's got a car length and a half on the deuce, as James has about 2.5 car lengths. It throws it to the inside, going through 2. Just hugging that white line, trying to get a drive down the... Hey, that's a 35 back out on track. Cool. Chris Ritchie back out on track, just trying to get some laps. Trying to stay high, get out of everybody's way. As gap starting to form between Chris Ryan Jones in the 24 and the 9 of Lawrence. And we've seen James get a pull coming through the quad oval section. He gets a better run off of 4. Bass seems to get a better run off of 2, though, and able to hold him at bay. So these guys are flat getting it right now. Bass trying to arc the corner a little bit better. Gets a not quite the run he's going to need, as James all over his back bumper right now. Just the slightest little hiccup from either one of these guys, and they're both going around. And for Chris Ryan Jones, you got to be loving what you're seeing in front of you, going, yeah, go ahead, guys, just burn your tires up. Go ahead.
Gotcha.
So there is that. As Lawrence...
Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
Well, just I'm wondering if James is not pushing the issue, thinking exactly that, you know? Because
he could probably push the issue more.
Now he is.
He was silently stalking him, just waiting for that gap to form. Drag race down the back straightaway, side by side they go. That's Bass on the high side, James on the inside. Full send it mode for both of them. James going to have the position, and that has let Jones and Lawrence reel them both back in, as going from defending for the lead, now defending for second. Bass has his rearview mirror filled with the 24 of Chris Ryan Jones. And Jones has got to be careful because he's got Chris Lawrence all over his back bumper. And then there's a little bit of breathing room back to Chris Roberge in the 98. Roberge kind of on an island all by himself right now. About 3 tenths per second, or 6 tenths per second off of this lead group.
James looking confident out front.
He does, and I gotta think he hit the nail right on the head. He wasn't looking to push the issue until, he was pushing James just as hard as he had to, hoping James was going to burn his stuff up. Now, again, I don't think we've seen the money shot yet. We could have, but definitely the tires have all equalized by now, as James is 21 laps on his set of tires. Bass is 16 laps on his set. Chris Ryan Jones looks like he only went in for fuel, as did Chris Lawrence last time. So call it 21 laps on both of their sets of tires. Same thing for Chris Roberge. Chris Papa, 20 laps into his. Chris Raul Meza, the oldest tires on track right now with 34 laps on them. James, Bass, Jones, Lawrence, Robert is your top 5 right now.
And really the
Eight-
closest battle on track.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that battle for the lead. Only 8 cars left on the lead lap. That's Chris Otto in the 88, running in the 8th spot. Chris Williams in the 91, and Chris Reese running in 9th and 10th. About a car length separate those two. As Bass looking to return the favor on James, kind of stalking him the same way that James was stalking him. And they are starting to stretch their legs over Chris Ryan Jones in the 24. And Jones is starting to put a little bit of breathing room between himself and Chris Lawrence in the 9. So 131 laps of 167 in the books. As this battle for the lead is our only close battle on track right now. You guys are less than a tenth from each other. Now, Kevin, you've driven this car more recently than I have. With there being 34 laps to go, when are you going in to get your final set of tires?
You know, I have to say that's the area where I need help. I need somebody to help make that call, especially if it's a green flag pit stop. I've always, you know, found it difficult to make that call. If I'm out front like James, it wouldn't be unless I started feeling Bass, you know, really overtaking me, and you know, otherwise I wouldn't want to. I just wouldn't want to give it up.
Fair enough. And I'm going to put this out there now to you, bud. You've got my phone number. Next time you run NIS, call me.
Will do.
So James and Bass really starting to stretch their legs now. They've got a 2-second gap back to Ryan Jones in the 24. Jones about a car length and a half over Chris Lawrence in the 9. That's your battle for 3rd and 4th. Then you're another 3 seconds back to Chris Roberge. Or sorry, another second back to Chris Roberge. Then another 3 seconds back to Chris Raul Meza. Another half a second back to Chris Papa. And 7 seconds back to Chris Otto. So the field's starting to get a little strung out. A little bit strung out right now. As
See, and if I was Bass and, you know, I couldn't keep up with James, then that's also what would determine for me if I was going to go in.
Well, the thing is, I mean, you take a look at their lap times. It was a 30.18 for James, 30.14 for Bass that last time. You know, they're within, a couple thousandths of each other.
Yeah, they're essentially running equal.
Right. Now, Chris Jones has about 50 thousandths per lap over Chris Lawrence. That time, Lawrence was a little bit quicker. But, those two are kind of in lockstep right now. So the battle for 3rd, about the same gap that we're seeing for the battle for 1st, if we want to take a quick look back there. Now, that is the battle for 9th going on behind Lawrence. Oh, hang on to her. 31 caught the apron. That's going to let the 62 get right to him. Lawrence right now starting to struggle as he's kind of damned if he does and damned if he doesn't, as the 31 throws it to the inside. Now that is Chris Williams battling with the car behind him, the 62 of Reese. That is for position between those two. Both of those drivers are a lap down. Lawrence realizes that he's not running those guys for position, so his best bet is just let him go, drop in behind him, and try to follow him through when they get to the 24 at Jones, because they are running about 4/10 quicker than Jones is right now.
Lawrence coming down.
There we go. Lawrence bringing it pit side. So
Ritchie and Leach is all. Oh, so they were already in there.
That's Jones. Jones going pit side, as is Lawrence.
Yep, and Otto and Ryan Jones.
So we are well within the you can make it from here territory. Look for these guys to take 4 and a full boat of fuel and call it good. This is the money stop for these guys.
CJ Jones, first one out. Nope, sorry, Christopher Lawrence.
I was going to say Lawrence jumped him. Lawrence only took 2. There's only a 10-second stop for Lawrence. He only took 2. I don't know how well that's going to work, considering how loose this car has been all night long. He may have just shot himself in the foot. Meanwhile, up the front, James still continues to show the way as he comes up on the 27 to put him another lap down. A little bit of breathing room now for James and Bass, as there is 6 seconds from Chris Bass to Chris Roberge in the 98, who currently holds down the number 3 slot. There's a 6-second gap.
Wow, incredible.
And then Roberge is almost 4 seconds over the 37 of Chris Meza. Meza we saw get a little bit of damage earlier as he got into the 75, as the 75 was coming off the pit road. That may have affected the handling on that Ford Mustang number 37 tonight. He's not laying down the lap times like we saw him lay down earlier.
No, I agree.
So the question is, 39 laps on this stint, and you're about a 40-second pit delta. When are we going to see the rest of the top 5 bring it pit side? Because Chris Mays is 51 laps on his fuel tank right now.
Well, James's time is starting to drop. Bass is catching up with him, so I would think he's got to be bringing it down soon. This lap, nope.
There's about a tenth. There was a tenth and a half the last time across the stripe. There's another. There's a full half a second that Chris Bass just reeled him in.
That's right. So it's got to be this lap, because otherwise he's just, giving it up.
And if you're Chris Bass, you're staying out until the deuce goes in.
Absolutely.
As soon as he makes the break for it, you're making the break for it, because you can't let him get the undercut on you. that not the two tires for the 9 has not really been helping him. He's been struggling. He hasn't been completely dirt tracking, but the 24 has already gotten by him and is consistently laying down half a second a lap quicker times than for the 24 than the 9 is. And I'm thinking that's essentially going to end up being, your race for. It's going to be a podium spot, just where on the podium.
Right.
So, they're working their way out of 4 right now as your leaders are coming out of 2. So they got about a lap and a half to make up. And you got to think that James has got to come in soon. Mesa has just gone pit side. So we know you can get, right around 50 laps on the fuel tank. And Robert's just went pit side, so...
James's time has come back down, and Bass is now slower than James. James is doing some masterful work.
Bass
just went pit side. Bass couldn't keep it up anymore and said, I'm going in. So it's almost as if James lured Bass, forced him to burn it up.
Absolutely. So the only 2 of the top 5 that we haven't seen go pit side, and here comes the 2 right now. So the only other one we're looking for is the 3rd. Oh, full lockup. Almost loses it, keeps it pointed in the right direction. See how much time that's going to cost Chris James, though. As
Bass is just on his way out. And
Bass is on his way out. Chris Papa stays out.
Kiwis is in. And Chris Papa is now presently your leader.
And here comes the 24 already at full chat. Chris James is going to lose a handful of positions because of this. Now, Papa still has to come in. We haven't seen him come in yet. Jones and Lawrence, the 24 and the 9, of the drivers that have gone pit side for the money stop, they have the oldest set of tires on the car. As we are 13 laps to go right now. Whoa, hang on to her. 62 just blew the entry to 1 completely.
We've got James and Bass resuming their battle, with James just 0.4 of a second in front.
The question is there enough time for them to reel in Chris Jones, Chris Lawrence, and Chris Papa? We shall see.
Papa, it just went in, so they definitely are going to be able to bring it up 1 closer, keeping an eye on Jones and Lawrence, who have stayed out.
Dealing with the lap car right now. That is the 82 of Bowler. So Chris Ryan Jones in the 24, Chris Lawrence in the 9, Chris James in the 2, Chris Bass in the 97. That's your podium battle right there.
With 9 to go.
And the battle for second really hot and heavy as the Deuce throws it to the inside on the 9, full send it mode. That's what 13 newer lap tires will do for you. Here comes the 97. The 9 knows he doesn't have anything for him, keeps it pinched down, lets the 97 get the run. That puts Chris Bass on the podium. Now, is there enough time for Chris James to get by Chris Jones? That is Papa in the 13 in front of the leader. Last car on the lead lap. Here comes the 2 to the inside of the 82. We're going to be 7 to go this time across the stripe. Full send it mode. And Chris James to the point.
Chris Bass coming right up on the outside.
Chris Bass getting a good run on the 24, puts him back into third. He's got a little bit of Chris Jones has a little bit of breathing room as there's about a 2.5 second gap back to Chris Lawrence in the 9. So now the question is, what does the 97 have for the 2? Does he have anything left? We are 5 to go this coming time across the stripe. Chris James shows the way. Half a second to the good over Chris Bass. Now Bass was 50 thousandths better that last lap. Let's see what it is this time across the stripe. 75 thousandths better. So Bass slowly reeling in Chris James. And James has lap traffic in front of him. Not where he needed to catch Chris Thompson if he was going to keep Chris Bass at bay. $20 thousandths to the good for Bass that time. He's running out of time though. We're working lap 164 of 167. 3 laps to go. This time across the stripe, Chris James, your leader, in the 2. Has Chris Bass trying to reel him in. Bass doing everything he can. 50 thousandths to the good for Bass that time. No, I'm sorry, 50 thousandths to the good for James that time. So they've got 10 and 11 laps on their tires respectively. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this is going to be your finishing order if nobody steps on their own junk.
I think you're right. James,
so popsicle sticks solid in the air. 2 laps to go. James with a little bit of a cushion as he works his way around the 33. That's C.J. Jones. And he can see it right now. White flag in the air. 1 more lap to go. Chris James showing the way. Chris Bass right there within striking distance if something should happen to James. Less than 3/4 of a mile left. James with an advantage. A full half second to the good right now. Chris Bass not going to be able to catch him unless the wheels fall off the car. Coming off of turn number 4 through the quad oval for the final time. Check the flag in the air. There's your winner, Chris James. Chris Bass hanging on for second. Battle for third goes to Ryan Jones in the 24. Chris Lawrence in the 9 hanging on for fifth. For fourth, Chris Roberge in the 98 for fifth. Chris Otto comes out of turn number 4 in 6th place, last car on the lead lap. So Chris James doing what he had to do as let's see if we can find that young man. And of course, he's not in. None of them are. Okay, then.
Well, that was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Well done to Chris James and Bass and Ryan Jones. And I have to give a big shout out to the first half of the race, driver of the race, Christopher Tate, who,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And we are going to reach out now to the driver of the two. Turned it on when he had to and made that car work when he needed it to. Congratulations on the victory here tonight at Texas, Chris James.
I appreciate it, guys.
So talk us through that battle you had with Chris Bass after the handful of cautions that we saw right around mid-race. You guys seem to be kind of trading it back and forth a little bit. We saw you kind of give up the lead for a short time, and were you kind of suckering him into burning off his tires quicker than he wanted to, or was it just an oops at the time?
No, I was going to let him by. I wasn't going to burn my stuff up. I always love racing around Bass. He's a good, clean racer. But basically, I was just riding behind, looking for weaknesses, see how he's taking corners, see where I could try to make my move. And I think I found it in, I don't remember, but always good racing him.
No, we saw it when you came in for the money stop there with about 12 to go. You got a little crossed up coming to the commitment cone. Was that a pucker moment, shall we say, coming on the pit road?
I was screwing up pit stops all night. I just got a new VR headset, and I didn't have my sim apps running with my beep beeps. So when you're used to the beep beeps and you don't get the beep beeps, it's bad news.
Fair enough.
But yeah.
But you had a great run going all night long. Let me just double check my math here. One of only a small handful of drivers that had 0 incident points all night long. So completely clean race. Congratulations. Started 14th. Didn't lay down a qualifying lap. Was that on purpose?
It was not. I was late to the party, and that really hurt me. I knew if there wasn't a caution, I wasn't going to catch Tate. But I would have loved the opportunity to race with him. I think me, Bass, and Tate up there would have been fun. And Ryan Jones.
Absolutely. But, now looking forward, let me just double check my schedule here. And somebody stole my schedule. Great. Okay, then.
Yeah, I'm screwed without you, too, because I'm not sure where we're going next either, man.
Michigan.
So
we've got a couple weeks off for the holidays. We come back January 10th going to Michigan. Your thoughts going to the Irish Hills?
I can probably speak for everyone that says I love Michigan. It's kind of, especially in this new aero package, it's almost like a super speedway in a sense. There's a little bit of tire saving, but if you lose that draft, you're kind of screwed. But I always love racing in Michigan.
Well,
feel so confident going in there.
Well, there you go then. Is there anybody you want to thank before we let you go celebrate?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys, ESPN, for broadcasting, SimNut Racing Sims, Marzio Gears, and of course our sponsor, Butt Kicker.
All right. Well, again, congratulations, Chris James. We're looking forward to seeing you in a couple weeks in the Irish Hills of Michigan.
Appreciate it, guys.
So that was our winner, and we move now to the man that was just eked out for the win, coming home in second place, but after starting 16th on the grid, can't be too disappointed in that, Chris Bass.
No, sir. No, you can't. That's a heck of a battle between me and the two there at the end. I hope it was a good show.
You guys put on an amazing show. As a matter of fact, you were the subject of tonight's trivia question, being as your car was painted in one of my favorite colors of all time, Petty Blue. So, you put on an amazing show all night long. Just watching you guys climb through the field. Now, we saw coming towards when it was time to make the money stop with, I believe you guys came in about 15 to go, 15-ish to go. Were you waiting for the two to blink first, or was that something that you were planning on trying to get the undercut on them?
Me and a buddy of mine were talking throughout the race, and I knew it was going to come down to who cut off pit road the best. And tires being such a big deal with the new tire model that came out and all that stuff, how it shook out. And I talked to him, and he's like, just wait a little bit. And I thought with 15 to go was our opportunity. And I tried the undercut. It didn't work, but I got to his outside down the front stretch, and thought if I could pinch him on the bottom in 1 and 2, maybe he'd have to lift if he get loose or something. But I don't think you could have fit a piece of paper between me and him through 1 and 2, and I got loose, and as they say, rest is history.
That was definitely something fun to watch from up here. You guys just throwing Chuck Liddell style haymakers at each other all night long.
Yeah, it's always a good time to battle with James and Jones and all these guys in here that I haven't got a chance to run a lot this year, but I keep up with the guys, and I look forward to racing with them throughout the rest of the season.
Well, moving forward, we take the next couple of weeks off for the holidays and the new year. We come back on January 10th into the house that Penske built in the Irish Hills of Michigan. Your thoughts going there in a couple weeks?
It's definitely going to be an aero battle. Air is huge at that racetrack. But I do enjoy Michigan for personal reasons and on here. The racetrack itself has been pretty good for me. I think I won there last season with these guys. So I did win the race, barely, over Otto. If you haven't seen that finish, I recommend looking that up. But yeah, Michigan's a pretty good place for me. It's a pretty good place to run a lot of lines and a lot of fun.
Now, I did mention something at the beginning of the broadcast. I'm gonna put you on the spot for this one. How much massaging of your existing setups did you have to do when the new build came out and they threw the new tire model and the new aero model at you guys?
Well, the aero model itself, I believe, I'm not totally sure. I couldn't be quoted on it, but I believe that this aero model was in effect when they tried the new damage model with the Cup car mid-summer this year, and they took it out. I think it was too buggy. So I've kind of dealt with it a little bit, but the tire model itself reminds me a lot of the ARCA car that they have on here. It kind of takes a while for the tires to get heated up, and if you overextend through the corners and you burn that right rear off of it, you're going to pay for it dearly throughout the run. So I think that's what I managed the most tonight, was basically just keeping the tires underneath me where I had good long run speed, and that I could actually keep up with the guys at the end.
Fair enough. Well, Chris, before we let you go, is there anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank Simnut Racing Sims for their deals and all the stuff they do for us. Butt Kicker, DeMarzo's, V1 Rotate Simulation Technologies for the help they've given me. Of course, Red Eye Designs for all the stuff that they do for me. It's greatly appreciated on them. ESPN, you guys do a great job on the broadcast. I can't wait to watch it when I get back to the house. Friends and family for tuning in, and I guess that'll just get it.
All right. Well, Chris, happy holidays, and we're looking forward to seeing you in a couple weeks in Michigan.
All right, guys. Merry Christmas.
So that was your second place driver, Chris Bass, joining us now. Driver of the number 24, Chris Ryan Jones, and probably not the finish you were hoping for, but all things considered, you can't be too disappointed still coming home on the podium after what we saw tonight, Chris.
No, not at all, Tony. I had a lot of fun. I definitely didn't have the fastest car all day. Tate definitely had it in the early going, and unfortunate for him that he wasn't able to stay and finish out the race. We all got to live with the personal issues every now and then, but he'll be back next week. But, yeah, we just had a lot of fun today. And there at the end, I was hoping I was going to be able to make it on that last run, like all 50 laps or so. And so I started saving fuel. And then after I looked at it, I realized I couldn't save it at all. So tried coming into pit early and seeing if that gave me the chance. And I was hoping it would work, but I just got too far behind from James and Bass that they were able to catch up with me. So all in all, it was a lot of fun and great racing.
Absolutely. It was fun to watch you and Chris Lawrence and Chris Roberge go at it all night long. You know, and you were able to edge those guys out when it came down to crunch time. Moving forward, though, we are going to take a couple weeks off for the holidays and the New Year. We come back on January 10th at the Michigan International Speedway. Your thoughts going to the house that Penske built?
Michigan's a great track, and I have a lot of fun. It's very fast, and if you can take care, just like any of these 1.5 to 2 mile tracks, if you can take care of your stuff, you can really prevail. And I have a lot of fun with it out there. And these are a great group of guys that we race with. But right now, it's just a time to enjoy the holidays and see family and friends, and just take it easy for a little bit.
Absolutely. You know, before we let you go, though, is there anybody you want to thank? You know, before we. The floor is yours. You know, wish anybody a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you want to call it, and anybody you want to thank tonight.
I got to thank you, Tony, and you guys at ESPN for everything that you guys do. Got to thank Simnut and everybody that sponsors us. It's been just a hell of a good ride, and got to thank my family and everything for letting me put up with the crap of racing. they know they love to hear it. So, but yeah, we're all just having fun, and I'm really thankful and grateful for everybody in this league.
Well, you know, depending on whose house you're going to be at for the holidays, wouldn't be anything to, you know, put a race on Christmas Day at, you know, mom's house or something, and let them see what you do on a nightly basis.
Really, I'm going to show them the replay of the Daytona race that I won with y'all. So
there you go. There you go. All right. Well, Ryan, happy holidays to you. We'll see you in a couple weeks at Michigan.
Absolutely, Tony. Thank you guys. Appreciate everything you guys do.
All right. So that is about going to do it for us tonight. Kevin, amazing race. I mean, 95 laps. When the green came out, 95 laps. You know, these guys were just picking them up and laying them down. And, you know, I think if we didn't have that little fracas right around the century mark of the race, I'm going to go out on a limb and say things may have turned out a little differently. And I'm not saying we could have stayed green the entire way, because that's asking a lot. I mean, yes, these guys are able to do it, but you know, with the lead that Tate built up, as you mentioned earlier, I mean, that was insane.
Yeah, it would have been a different race, but you know, as we just heard from our top three, the way it unfolded provided the opportunities as they ended up. So, you know, that's racing. But yeah, all in all, what an excellent night here at the Texas Motor Speedway with the Chris Cup.
Absolutely, and you know, we'll give a quick rundown of our finishing order. Again, congratulations to Chris James for bringing out the victory tonight. Chris Bass hanging on for second. Ryan Jones for third. Chris Lawrence for fourth. Chris Roberge in fifth. Otto in sixth. Last car being scored on the lead lap. Then we've got Chris Papa, Chris Williams, Chris Reese, and Chris Raul Meza rounding out your top 10. CJ Jones coming home in 11th. Chris Bowler in 12th. Chris Corvo in 13th. Chris Thompson, after getting wadded a couple of times through no fault of his own, coming home in 14th. Chris Kiwis in 15th. Chris Landy in 16th. Chris Ritchie in 17th. Chris Joey Reese in 18th. Christopher Jonathan Leach in 19th. 20th goes to Chris Tate after leading the most laps tonight. Your pole sitter, Bailey Galinas, not having the start that he would have needed. Would have been fun to see what him and Tate could have done if they would have started near each other, or what would have happened if Galinas didn't have that throughput on the parade lap and Chris Newman not able to take the green at all. So that is going to do it for us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. There are many major religions throughout the world that celebrate a holiday at this time of year. So what I'm going to say right now is a blanket statement to whatever deity you believe in, whatever religion you practice. If you don't practice a religion, just a happy holidays to you. Happy, season's greetings. We thank you all for being part of the ESPN family. And Kevin Coney, to you, I thank you for being a friend, for being a sounding board when I need it. I don't say it often enough, but thank you for being you. Thank you for providing the great pictures that you provide week in and week out. To the rest of the ESPN broadcast family that I work with on a regular basis, thank you all for being you. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you a toast. I'm raising my glass right now to a prosperous new year, and may we never have to talk about 2020 ever again.
Cheers.
So, for Mr. Kevin Cunha, this is Tony Trapasso saying, remember, ladies and gentlemen, as you walk down the road of life, don't play in traffic.